Hello. Welcome to the quiz. Or to the live feed. Hello to my cat friend. My pile of washing needs to be sorted. Yes, welcome to the quiz. As always, if you're tuning in later when it's no longer live, look in the comments, in the description. There'll be a time stamp for when the quiz questions start. Good brain working, make words. But in the meantime, I'm going to I'm going to spam the link to this video in the usual places, including the Facebook page, Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz. It's not even a .com. Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz. Holy cow, my brain is not working today for reasons I will explain in a bit. Okay, let me span the link around while I'm waiting. Where's the page? Here's the page. Okay, I think that's posted to the page now. Why is it being so slow? Okay, now I need to post to the event. Where's the event? Come on, Facebook. Stop hiding stuff from me. 24th November. That's the event. Let's post here. Okay. Hello, Pierrot, and other person who has tuned in. That light is a little annoying up there, isn't it? Can I block that one with my giant head? We'll just have to deal with a bit of light while I get it a bit forward. Okay, there we go. I don't know why the geometry of my stuff has gone all out of whack this week. Anyway, I will post a link in a couple of other places. One last place. Okay, we'll be starting in about 6 minutes, I guess. 35 past. I do need to do something about this monitor. It's very dark, and I'm so used to having a curved monitor on this side that when I look at this flat monitor, it looks like it's curved the other way. It's a bit of a first world problem. You can hear me okay. I'm probably going to be mumbling a bit today because I'm pretty tired. And grumpy and sad, but anyway, that's fine. Hello, Narelle, Simone, and Ads. Right, what am I drinking tonight? I'm drinking James Squire 50 Lashes Pale Ale. Which I've had many times and I like. It's probably 10 years ago now. I should probably get over it. But I remember when James Squire changed the names of all their beers from simply being James Squire Pale Ale to being 150 Lashes Pale Ale. And the porter, and like instead of just being a descriptive name of the type of beer, they added these little flourishes, 150 Lashes and etc. Can't even remember what the other ones are. And but they didn't change the beer at all. It just was just sort of a pure marketing move, which I thought, yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was a bit put on, rankled me somewhat. And here I am a decade later, still rankled, still drinking the beer. I should check that I have the document with the questions in it, because that would be a good thing to have at some point. Where's that window not obeying the Windows go away key? Go over there. There, and be a big okay. Hello, Nikki, Jill, Chris, Joan, Kim, Meg, Paul, everybody. We're starting in about 4 minutes. I haven't opened my document yet. Where are my questions? So you find me in a slightly melancholic mood, as I may have mentioned. If I can make Dropbox play nicely, I will open that document which has the questions in it. Good. I had my hockey grand final last night, and you can probably tell by my mood that we did not win. We lost 4-2. We didn't play particularly well, which is even more frustrating. You don't mind losing as long as you played all right. But anyway, sport is a cruel mistress. Have to just do better next year, I guess. It feels like a very long season, because we, instead of having 2 6-month seasons, we started the season at the beginning of the year, and then we had 3 months off because of COVID, and then we sort of had a really long season for the rest of the year. So it's been kind of a long, hard-fought season. And we were the second place team, I'd say, for most of the season, and we lost the grand final to the team that was probably unquestionably the best team. So that's, the natural order of things. But I thought we had a chance of pulling it out of the bag. We had beaten that team recently. I thought maybe we could have pulled it out of the bag this time, but it didn't happen. Nikki is classing these trivia sessions as training. Well, the questions this week will be a bit strange, because I had to very quickly throw this round together between finishing work and playing the grand final last night. So I literally just went through my question document and basically grabbed the first 50 questions I hadn't used before that I thought I hadn't used. So there might be some repeats, hopefully not. But if there are, I apologize. And if the question difficulty balancing whatever is totally out of whack, well, that's all part of the fun. It's the same for everybody. Hopefully it's not too cripplingly difficult, but I think I've done my classic make round 2 easier than round 1 trick. Anyway. Ads, no hockey related questions tonight. No hockey. Stupid sport. Why do people play it? Stupid game. Hello, Carmen. Right then. It is 7:34. I don't think there's anything else I had to run through. I guess we'll just do the usual housekeeping. I think we're all regulars. We know how it works, but what the heck. We are going to have 3 rounds. The first round will be 20 questions of relatively easy trivia, but who knows tonight. And then I'll give you the answers. The second round will be 20 questions of less easy, more difficult questions. But again, who knows tonight? And then I'll give you the answers. And then round 3 is our tricky / silly / cripplingly difficult round. There's only 10 questions, but if you get any points in that round, you're doing pretty well. Simone is about to start planning to renovate her house. Wow, that sounds like a nightmare, but hopefully good at the end of it. Nikki says, Simone, we got more money per person than the team that beat us, which makes me think, have you ever played in a pub trivia game scenario where they do like a per team head count handicap system, like a per capita? So if you get 10 points, but you've got 10 people on your team, if another team gets 8 points, but they only have 5 people, per capita, they've done better than you. I've often thought about running that kind of system, but it would be complicated. I guess not too complicated. You just divide the final scores by the number of people on the team. Yeah, it would be interesting to do that, because you certainly get these sort of power teams of 2 or 3 people who do pretty well but don't quite beat the bigger teams. Not that having more people on the team is a guarantee of success. If anything, if you have more people on the team, that's more people to be determined that they have the correct answer that the scribe should write down. And of course, they can't both be correct if their answers are different. Anyway, here we are at 7:36. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about your dad, Simone. But I hope you're doing okay. All right, let's get started with the questions. Round 1. Question 1. Famous for their musical heritage, the cities of Nashville and Memphis are both in which U.S. state? Round 1, question 1. Famous for their musical heritage, Nashville and Memphis are both in which U.S. state? Hopefully it's not going to be too US-centric. A couple of US questions, but other stuff as well. Right, question 2. What is the name of the high school in the US TV show Glee? Glee. That's a very tricky, specific question for question 2 of round 1, I have to say. What is the name of the high school in the television show Glee? Glee. Ah, yes, I didn't mention that. Hello, FNP865. It's nice to see a new player. It's not that kind of quiz. You don't need to type the answers into the chat. You just keep track of the answers yourself, and then I give you the answers at the end of the round, and you mark yourself, and then you let us know how you went in the comments. That way, if 5 people turn up or 500 people turn up, we we don't need to manage the answers from people. But don't feel bad. You're not the first person to do that. Okay, question 3. What is the name of the flap that covers the windpipe? Excuse me. Speaking of which. What is the name of the flap that covers the windpipe in humans when swallowing? Question 3. What is the name of the flap that covers the windpipe in humans when swallowing? That's all good, FNP865. Nice to see a new player. So yeah, humans. Man, my throat. I swear I don't have COVID. I get tested, well, my temperature gets tested every morning at work. I suspect it's revenge of the pizza I ate in the car on the way home. Don't judge me, I was in a rush. Question 3 was, what is the name of the flap that covers the windpipe in humans when swallowing? Question 4, Kecap Manis, K-E-C-A-P, Kecap Manis, M-A-N-I-S, is a sweet Indonesian version of which popular sauce? Question 4, Kecap Manis is a sweet Indonesian version of which popular sauce? I'm going to quickly, how do I do that? I can remove that message. Nothing personal, just in case people are looking at the quiz later. Question 5. Okay, this is a fairly specific, slightly obscure round 1. Anyway, question 5. What is the name of the ultimate Chicago gangster gun? A 45 caliber submachine gun invented in 1969. Sorry, 1919. Question 5. What is the name of the ultimate Chicago gangster gun? A .45 caliber submachine gun invented in 1919. I should say, I got confused by that FN865. I should say that I'm not going to say hungover because I only had 2 beers, but after our defeat at the hands of our hockey opponents last night, we retired to the pub and stayed there until they kicked us out at about 2 in the morning, or about 1 in the morning. By the time I got home, it was about 2 in the morning. So I'm not hungover, but I'm quite sleep deprived and a bit depressed, but that's all right. It'll pass. So question 5 was, what is the name of the ultimate Chicago gangster gun? A .45 caliber submachine gun invented in 1919. You hear them mentioned all kind of gangster movies. They've all got their, particular gun that they use. Question 6. Which color light indicates the port side of a boat? So on a boat, you have lights on either side, so you can see which way the boat is facing, I guess. So what color light or which color light indicates the port side of a boat? And I believe it's also true for aircraft. So question 6, which color light indicates the port side of a boat? Question 7, who does the voice of Puss in Boots in the Shrek films? We can question deja vu about that one. I think we had the voice of Donkey in a recent one, but this one is, who does the voice of Puss in Boots in the Shrek films? We haven't had that one before. Good. Question 8. If you throw a single die, as in 1 dice, a single die, and you roll a 6, what is the total of the other 4 visible sides? So obviously one side is pointing down at the table, but you can see 4 visible sides. So question 8, if you throw a single die and roll a 6, what is the total of the other 4 visible sides? Simone says, it's a snobbish peeve of mine that big-name actors get cast for voice roles when there are talented voice actors who rely on that work. That's true. I guess it's a pretty small field, voice acting. But I will say the people who have been in the Shrek films, despite the fact they've all had success before, I'm pretty sure it's ended up being their biggest success financially. Because they're such huge franchises. And as new member Web Asdazd says, big names on the bill pull more people to watch. I guess that's true. Are there people who, I guess there are people who, if they're in a film, I'll go and see the film just because they're in it. Not that I particularly like them, but generally because it means the film's going to be pretty good. Web Asdazd is not new. That's true. I did remember actually that I have seen you before, but you are generally quiet. So I haven't seen you in a while. Does that mean they're the more talented actor? No, but it means that they... I think they're as deserve. I think they're not necessarily operating from a particularly elevated position when they come to that. It's not like, I don't know, Tom Cruise. Does Tom Cruise do voice work in animated films? I'm thinking probably not. But if you think about what the actors in Shrek did beforehand, it was all kind of a while ago, I'm thinking. And anyway, I don't know. It was certainly a career revival for quite a few of them. Question 8 was, if you throw a single die and roll a 6, what is the total of the other 4 visible sides? Question 9. Which comedy duo had the films titled Up in Smoke, Still Smokin', and Far Out, Man? Question 9. Which comedy duo, speaking of careers that have had ups and downs, had films titled Up in Smoke, Still Smokin', and Far Out, Man? I think probably the best example of an actor that I don't particularly like the person, not that I know them, but don't particularly like what I know of them. I don't dislike them, but I don't, I'm not a huge fan of theirs. But I would generally watch films that they're in. Again, not because I particularly like their acting, but they tend to be in interesting films, is in fact Tom Cruise. Because if you think about things like Vanilla Sky and was it Oblivion? There's just been a few sort of interesting one-off sci-fi things that he's been in that I've really enjoyed. So if he does any more of those, I'll probably, I don't know, I guess you're sort of trusting his judgment that the script is good. Anywho, question 10. Which country was former President Obama's father born in? Yes, I agree that Tom Cruise does seem like, frankly, a bit of a knob in real life, but harmless enough, I guess. He's not, there's certainly been some actors who've done terrible things, and he seems to have not been involved in any of that kind of stuff, but he's certainly done some wacky stuff over the years. But anyway, his films tend to be good. Question 10 was, which country was former President Obama's father born in? Let's not go down the whole road of where Obama was born, because we know where that was. He was born in Hawaii. But where was his father born? Edge of Tomorrow. That was another good one. Not just because he dies thousands of times, as Norel says. I really liked Vanilla Sky, which is a remake of Abres los Ojos, Open Your Eyes in Spanish. And strangely, Penelope Cruz was in both those films, the Spanish version and the English version. And then Tom Cruise ended up in a relationship with her. I can't turn the trivia off. Sorry. Question 11. Which number is part of the name of Victoria Beckham's daughter? So Victoria Beckham has at least one daughter, and there is a number that's part of that daughter's name. What is the number? Pierrot has chimed in. Edge of Tomorrow was based off a manga called All You Need Is Kill. I will defer to your judgment in that regard. Question 11. Which number is part of the name of Victoria Beckham's daughter? Question 12. What is the name of the largest freshwater lake in Africa? Question 12. What is the name of the largest freshwater lake in Africa? Simone says, I haven't watched a Cruise film in years. I did enjoy A Few Good Men. That was quite some time ago. You might want to look him up. He's made a few films since then. In fact, soon there's going to be the new Top Gun film. Play nice, Web. Yes, the new Top Gun film, Top Gun Maverick, where he's old and crusty and yeah, anyway, should be good. I mean, now that I've said Tom Cruise films are good, it's going to be catastrophically bad, of course. Anyway, question 13. Which curry is generally the hottest? So this is a multiple choice. Is it A, korma, B, Rogan Josh, C, Vindaloo, or D, Madras? So question 13, which curry is generally the hottest? Is it A, korma, B, Rogan Josh, C, Vindaloo, or D, Madras? And I say generally because, of course, you can order a spicy one week, or you can order a week one spicy. It's one of my pet peeves. I think Indian restaurants shouldn't let you do that. If you order well, I'm not going to give the answer away, but if you order a curry that is meant to be spicy and you order a non-spicy version of it, why didn't you just order one of the many curries that isn't spicy? Anyway, don't get me started. Question 14. Which race course hosts the Melbourne Cup every year? Can't believe we didn't have that one the other week when it was actually Melbourne Cup week. Maybe we did. Anyway, question 14. Which race course hosts the Melbourne Cup every year? So what's the name of the racetrack, I guess you'd say? Right. I'm not going to repeat any of that conversation that's currently happening in the comments. Question 14. Which race course hosts the Melbourne Cup every year? Question 15. What name is given to the tectonic fault line that runs for roughly 1,300 kilometers through California? Question 15. What name is given to the tectonic fault line that runs for roughly 1,300 kilometers through California? Question 16. In 1976, which 14-year-old Romanian gymnast became the first person in the history of the modern Olympic Games to score a perfect 10? Question 16. In 1976, which 14-year-old Romanian gymnast became the first person in the history of the modern Olympic Games to score a perfect 10? Since then, we've had Torvill and Dean, of course. I think they got it. Wasn't there Bolero, a perfect 10? Which, testing my brain, I think was the Sarajevo Winter Olympics in... answers on a postcard. What year? 1986? Torvill and Dean. 1984. Dagnabbit. At the Sarajevo 1984 Winter Olympics. Well, I wasn't far off. Anyway, that's not the question. The question is, in 1976, which 14-year-old Romanian gymnast became the first person in the history of the modern Olympic Games to score a perfect 10? Question 17. Which two countries jointly developed the Concorde aircraft? I guess you can have half a point each for the two. Chris McKinnon says, I think a perfect score in ice dancing is 6. Is it? You are correct. Torvill and Dean at the Sarajevo 1984 Winter Olympics, the pair won gold, became the highest scoring figure skaters of all time for a single program, receiving 12 perfect 6s and 6 5.9s, which included artistic impression scores of 6.0 from every judge after skating to Maurice Ravel's Bolero. There you go. They're not 10s. They're 6s. Where has my window gone? Where has there? Good. Okay, question 17. Which two countries jointly developed the Concorde aircraft? And you can have half a point each for those. Simone says, we had a teacher with a long nose and we used to call her Miss Concorde. That's a bit cruel. And she'd have to... Did her nose bend down when she sat down? Obscure Concorde engineering joke. Okay, question 18. Including the third molars or wisdom teeth, How many teeth do adult humans normally have? Question 18. Including the third molars or wisdom teeth, how many teeth do adult humans normally have? Yeah, school kids are so cruel. I remember we used to, there was a janitor guy at school, and we used to call him Ponger. Pong as in smell, because he was like the janitor, emptied the bins and stuff. And he was just a guy who just kind of, did his stuff and emptied the bins and kept the school clean. And man, we were cruel, young and cruel. Question 19. Which 2002 film starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks is based on the life of Frank Abagnale Jr.? Question 19. Which 2002 film starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks is based on the life of Frank Abagnale Jr.? And question 20, for half a point each, please name the 4 countries in which tennis Grand Slams are held. Question 20, for half a point each, please name the 4 countries in which tennis Grand Slams are held. Right. Brings us to the end of round 1. If you need any of those repeated, please let me know either on the Facebook page or in the YouTube comments. Message from someone. Right. Does anybody need any questions repeated? Nope. All quiet in the comments. That's good. Are we all quiet on the Facebook page? It seems to be all quiet on the Facebook page, so I assume everybody's happy. Give you another 30 seconds to think about those. Right. Good. Oh, Windows gone everywhere. Where's that thing gone? Here. Good. Right. Let's go through the answers to round 1. Furiously clicking. I've sent all my windows in the wrong places. Let's make that bigger. There we go. I can actually read it. Okay. Here's the answers to round 1. Question 1 was, famous for their musical heritage, Nashville and Memphis are both in which U.S. state? That is, of course, Tennessee. Question 2, what is the name of the high school in the U.S. TV show Glee? It is McKinley High. McKinley High. Question 3, what is the name of the flap that covers the windpipe in humans when swallowing? Because, of course, the windpipe's in front and the food pipe's behind. So as the food goes in when you swallow, there has to be a flap to cover it up. That is called the epiglottis. I've got that written down as the epiglottis. Is that correct? Epiglottis. So glottis means tongue. The epiglottis is a leaf-shaped flap in the throat that prevents food from entering the windpipe and the lungs. There you go. So epiglottis. Epi meaning above. Glot meaning tongue. Anyway, question 4. Kecap manis is a sweet Indonesian version of which popular sauce? It's soy sauce. Easy enough. Question 5. What's the name of the ultimate Chicago gangster gun, a .45 caliber submachine gun invented in 1919? It is the Thompson machine gun or the Tommy gun. It's the one you see they hide in the violin case and they get it out. Ah, you dirty rat. The term submachine gun means that instead of specialized machine gun cartridges, it fires pistol cartridges. So it fires .45 caliber pistol bullets, but lots of them. Question 6. Which color light indicates the port side of a boat? That is the red light. It was always going to be red or green, I guess possibly white, but it is red. And if you want a way to remember that stuff, you can remember that the port side is the left side because port and left both have 4 letters. It's one way to remember. And port, the wine, is red in color, right? So left, port, and red go together. And then the other options are right, starboard, and green, I guess. Anywho, question 7. Who does the voice of Puss in Boots in the Shrek films? That is Antonio Banderas. Antonio Banderas. I have disgraced myself. Question 8. If you throw a single die and roll a 6, what is the total of the other 4 visible sides? Well, I think if I'm correct, the rule is that the 2 opposite sides always add up to 7. So if you can see the 6 on the top, then the 1 must be underneath. So the remaining sides are 2, 3, 4, and 5, which is a total of 14. So the answer is 14. Question 9. Which comedy duo had films titled Up in Smoke, Still Smokin', and Far Out, Man? Who else could it be but Cheech and Chong? Cheech and Chong. And I know Cheech Marin has gone on to do other things. But Tommy Chong, Cheech Marin is doing all kinds of acting, still going. And Tommy Chong is also still going. Cool. Question 10. Which country was former President Obama's father born in? He was born in Kenya. Can you believe it? You got to be kidding me. I'm going to do that joke every time. Question 11. What number is part of the name of Victoria Beckham's daughter? Well, her name is Harper Seven Beckham. Her middle name is Seven. Why? Because David Beckham's football shirt number was always 7. So the answer to question 11 is 7. Question 12. What is the name of the largest freshwater lake in Africa? It is Lake Victoria. Simone says, Tommy Chong was in that 70s show. Didn't watch that 70s show. Looked a bit painful to me. Question 12. What's the name of the largest freshwater lake in Africa? It is Lake Victoria. Question 13. Which curry is generally the hottest? Korma, Rogan Josh, Vindaloo, or Madras? The answer is Vindaloo. Korma is a traditionally mild curry. Rogan Josh and Madras are medium to hot, whereas a Vindaloo is a hot sour curry, or a very hot sour curry generally. So people who go to Indian restaurants and order a mild Vindaloo, I'm annoyed by that for no good reason. Well, it may well have been hilarious, Simone, but I never gave it the time to find out, unfortunately. There's too many TV shows, not enough time. Question 14. Which race course hosts the Melbourne Cup every year? That is Flemington Racecourse, which is on Crown land, leased to the Victoria Racing Club. But the answer is Flemington Racecourse. Pierrot says, I was at an Indian restaurant and the chef told me that they couldn't legally make my curry any hotter. Or the curry police will come smashing in through the ceilings. Question 15. What name is given to the tectonic fault line that runs for roughly 1,300 kilometers through California? That is, of course, the San Andreas Fault. But the spice is part of the flavor, Davey. If you have a Vindaloo, you have to work through the heat, and then the heat becomes part of the flavor. And anyway, fair enough. You know, everyone's the master of their own destiny. If you want to order a mild Vindaloo or an extra hot korma, knock yourself out. Question 15 we had. That was the San Andreas Fault. Question 16. In 1976, which 14-year-old Romanian gymnast became the first person in the history of the modern Olympic Games to score a perfect 10? That was, of course, Nadia Comaneci. I will accept approximate spelling. Nadia Comaneci, she scored 6 more perfect 10s at the same Olympic Games. Right. We've started argument in the comments. Okay, what are we up to? Question 17. Which 2 countries jointly developed the Concorde aircraft? That was England and France. We previously had a question about the operators. Can I remember them all? There was, of course, British Airways and Air France. And then there was Banff International. And the other one I can't remember. But there were 4 operators of Concorde. That's going to annoy me. Concorde operators. Air France, British Airways. Do the thing. Air France, British Airways, Banff International, and Singapore Airlines had one on a short-term wet lease, whatever that means. Okay. But the answer is England and France. Question 18, including the third molars or wisdom teeth, how many teeth do adult humans normally have? That is 32. 12 molars, 8 premolars, 4 canines, and 8 incisors. Yes, Webb, it was very sad when Concorde, pretty unjustifiably got canned because of only really one operational incident. But I like to think that given we've reached the age of commercial space flight, that surely soon enough Elon Musk or someone like that will think that they need to make a Concorde-like plane and we can have, a sleek, elegant, supersonic transatlantic flight once again. Or, colonize Mars. Either's fine. The answer to question 18 was 32 teeth. Question 19. Which 2002 film starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks is based on the life of Frank Abagnale Jr.? It is Catch Me If You Can. It's about that guy who basically scammed his way around the world. Based on a true story. I think Leonardo DiCaprio is another one who, can take him or leave him, but generally his films are good, I would say. As long as the spacecraft have ballrooms again. Well, there's plenty of ballroom on Mars. Question 20. For half a point each, name the 4 countries in which tennis Grand Slams are held. For half a point each, they are the UK. I guess you can say England. Fine, whatever. UK or England. The US, France, and Australia. The UK, US, France, Australia. The 4 countries in which tennis Grand Slams are held for half a point each. That's the end of round 1. Let me know how you went in the comments / the Facebook page, virtualauzipubquiz.com. No, why do I keep saying .com? I do actually own the domain, so I could make the website come up. But anyway, Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz on the Facebook page. Subscribe or like if you want to be informed of future events. I'm so very tired. Virgin, we're going to do it 20 years ago, except the beach. Okay, it's an old comment. Web got ... 14. Ads got 17. PR got 7.5. Better than last week. Simone got 17. Jill, Joan, and Chris got 19. Nikki got 17. Kim got 18. Davey got 18 with a big smile. Karma got 18. Well, here's me thinking that was a strange, obscure, difficult first round, and people are smashing it. And I guess we did have a few bonus points, but not too many. Narelle 18. Steven 17. It's close going into the second round. Do we have lots of geography questions? Maybe. All right, let's get cracking with round 2. Actually, there's a comment on the Facebook page. Lance, without Gail this round, got 19. Wow, she was holding you back. Leo's crap movie, The Beach. Hey, that's based on a Neville Shute novel. Sorry, trivia. And the song by the Smiths, Every Day is Like Sunday, is based on that novel as well. Good. Which is set in Melbourne, I think. And it's about a nuclear blast traveling around the world to the beach in Melbourne where they're anticipating it. Anyway, that's all based purely on trivia. I haven't actually read it or seen the film. So, could be wrong. Anyway, round 2. Question 1. True or false? All hurricanes in the USA are named after women. Question 2, round 1. True or false? All hurricanes in the USA are named after women. Is it a different beach? Maybe. Question 2. Who was the first female Premier of Queensland? Question 2 of round 2. Who was the first female Premier of Queensland? The beach. Oh. Sorry, I wasn't calling Anna Bligh a beach. I was looking up the beach film on Wikipedia. That was just unfortunately timed. Question 2, and I just gave away the answer to that question. Awesome. Question 2, who was the first female Premier of Queensland? That person. I'm very tired. Question 3, what is the unusual physical feature of Manx cats? Question 3, what is the unusual physical feature of Manx cats? The Beach is a 2000 adventure film based on the 1996 novel of the same name by Alex Garland. Well, I was totally wrong. What is the unusual physical feature of Manx cats? Question 4, what is the name of the spreadsheet product included in Microsoft Office? Question 4, what is the name of the spreadsheet product included in Microsoft Office? Neville Shute's novel is On the Beach. And the very first line of the page is not to be confused with The Beach. There we go. I've had those facts in my head for a while, and they've all been totally wrong. I guess I could have made that more obvious to myself by actually bothering to read the book or watch either of the films. Anyway. Question 5. Which young adventurer is often accompanied by his dog, Snowy? Question 5. Which young adventurer is often accompanied by his dog, Snowy? That's all right. I'll get it together. No more giving away answers. Probably. Question 6. The phrase pound of flesh, in reference to a debt, has its origin in which of Shakespeare's plays? Question 6. The phrase pound of flesh, in reference to a debt, has its origin in which of Shakespeare's plays? Right, what are we up to now? Question 7. In which Australian city would you find the Titanium Security Arena? Question 7. In which Australian city would you find the Titanium Security Arena? You think about those. Not too many messages on the Facebook page this week. Right, question 8. In the NATO phonetic alphabet, which word represents the letter U? Question 8. In the NATO phonetic alphabet, which word represents the letter U? I think I confusedly asked the audience that not too long ago. Okay, I'm confused about this whole beach on the beach. Song by the Smiths. Not even a song by the Smiths. It's a song by Morrissey on his debut solo album. It's reportedly inspired by Nevil Shute's novel On the Beach. Good. Right, question 9. How old will the Queen be at her next birthday in April 2021? Question 9. How old will the Queen be at her next birthday in April 2021? That's Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, Bermuda, various other territories. Question 10. In the world of James Bond, Felix Leiter is a member of which organization? Question 10. In the world of James Bond, Felix Leiter, Leiter, Felix Leiter, is a member of which organization? Question 11. Which gaseous element makes up about 80% of the Earth's atmosphere? Question 11, our Madri, well, it's not really a periodic table, but it's a chemical element question. Question 11, which gaseous element makes up about 80% of the Earth's atmosphere? Question 12. In the Harry Potter universe, what is the popular sport played by several players on flying broomsticks? Question 12. In the Harry Potter universe, what is the name of the popular sport played by several players on several players on flying broomsticks? What's the name of the Wizzo broomstick that Harry gets? The Nimbus 2000 or something? Question 13. Who won the 2019 Gold Logie Award for Most Popular Personality on Television? Question 13. Who won the 2019, why did you maximize my window? 2019 Gold Logie Award for Most Popular Personality on Television? Darrell says pass. Oh, I don't want no pop culture. Fair enough. Question 14. With which Mediterranean country do we associate an 8-pointed cross? Question 14. With which Mediterranean country do we associate an 8-pointed cross? Seem to be racing through tonight, although I guess it is 20 past 8. We haven't yet finished the questions to round 2. Question 15. Which British rider won the Tour de France in 2013, 2015, 2016, and 2017? Question 15. Which British rider won the Tour de France in 2013, 2015, 2016, and 2017? Norella's passing on the Harry Potter question. I know, but the kids love them. Question 15, Tour de France. Question 16, approximately 750 miles. Don't know why we're doing miles, but anyway, approximately 750 miles east of Australia, New Caledonia belongs to which country? New Caledonia. It is 750 miles east, 1,210 kilometers. If you're playing along at home. Right. I was going to give a bonus point for what Old Caledonia is, but actually it seems to not be as definite as I would like for a bonus point. So no bonus point for that question. Question 16 is approximately 750 miles east of Australia. New Caledonia belongs to which country? Question 17. What was the name of the best-selling book published by Stephen Hawking in 1988? Question 17. What was the name of the best-selling book published by Stephen Hawking in 1988? I remember I got given it. I would have been, well, if it was 1988, I would have been in my teens. I got given it by my uncle, and I remember reading it at the time and not quite getting it. It was pretty, it was written for a lay audience. But then I lost that copy, and I had another copy given to me when I was maybe 30, and I read it again, and it made a lot more sense that time. But it certainly sparked my interest was one of the things that sparked my interest in science and physics back in the day. The other one was a book by Sir Patrick Moore called Voyages in Space and Time. That was good. And Islands in the Sky by Arthur C. Clarke. Anyway, question 17. What was the name of the best-selling book published by Stephen Hawking in 1988? Question 18. The river Danube empties into which sea? Question 18. The river Danube empties into which sea? Question 18, the river Danube empties into which sea? Question 19, what repetitive name was used by infamous former Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi to refer to his alleged sex parties? So question 19, what repetitive name was used by infamous former Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi to refer to his alleged sex parties? Narelle says, all good books. Yes, they were very formative. They certainly captured my imagination at the time and made me very interested in science and astronomy and chemistry and physics and all that kind of stuff, which I've continued with to this day. Although I don't use too much of it in what I will laughingly refer to as a career. And question 20, for half a point each, name each US state with a double N in the name. That's N for Nike, N for Nelly, N for NATO phonetic alphabet. Question 20, for half a point each, name. I I'm going to tell you how many there are because that seems too confusing. For half a point each, name the 4 US states that have a double N in their name. Right, that's the end of round 2. Let me know if you need any of those repeated or clarified or whatever, either in the chat on YouTube or via the Facebook page is also good. Right. Old Caledonia is the Latin name, or just Caledonia, is the Latin name given by the Romans to the land north of their province of Britannia. So it roughly corresponds to modern-day Scotland. However, it also goes to other bits of Britain, and anyway, it's not super. I guess I could have done a bonus point for that, but yeah, didn't seem to be quite as neat as I would like for a bonus point question to be. Lance would like question 7 repeated. Certainly. Question 7 of round 2 was, in which Australian city would you find the Titanium Security Arena? Titanium Security Arena. Nobody else seems to need any repeated, so I guess we're all happy. Let's go through the answers to round 2. Round 2, question 1, true or false? All hurricanes in the name, all hurricanes in the USA are named after women. Is it true? Is it false? It is false. Since 1978, they have also included men's names. Kim would like question 20 repeated. Question 20 was, for half a point each, please name the 4 US states that have a double N for Nike in their name. Okay, what are we up to? Question 2, who was the first female Premier of Queensland? Did you get this one? I gave it away because I confused myself. It was, of course, Anna Bligh. Question 3, what is the unusual physical feature of Manx cats? They have no tail. Presumably as a consequence of inbreeding on the Isle of Man, they have no tail. Question 4, what is, that's the cats that are inbred on the Isle of Man, nobody else. Question 4, what is the name of the spreadsheet product included in Microsoft Office? That is Microsoft Excel, or simply Excel is fine. Question 5, which young adventurer is often accompanied by his dog Snowy? That is Tintin. Question 6, the phrase pound of flesh in reference to a debt has its origin in which of Shakespeare's plays? That was in The Merchant of Venice, where Shylock is insisting on a payment of Antonio's flesh. I will have my pound of flesh. Question 7, in which Australian city would you find the Titanium Security Arena? It's in Adelaide. It's the current commercial name of the Adelaide Arena. It has been for many years. Question 8, in the NATO phonetic alphabet, which word represents the letter U? That is uniform. Uniform. Going to be that I don't know the answer to my own questions. Well, you have to remember that I'm sort of reusing questions that I've used many years ago. Question uniform. There you go. Done. Question 9. How old will the Queen be at her next birthday in April 2021? Well, she was born in 1926, so she will be 95 years old. It's not unicorn. That's right, Davey. I think it was last week or the week before when I thought it was unicorn. I got confused. Or was that the one that I said sometimes unicorn is allowed? I can't remember. I'm conflicted. I'm contradicting myself. Anyway, the current answer for this week is uniform. Right. Question 9. The Queen will be 95. Question 10. In the world of James Bond, Felix Leiter is a member of which organization? He's a member of the CIA. He appears in a few of the novels. He's sort of the American counterpart of James Bond, sort of. Question 11, which gaseous element makes up about 80% of the Earth's atmosphere? That is, of course, nitrogen. Nitrogen, it's biologically and pretty much chemically inert, which is good. Question 12, in the Harry Potter universe, what is the popular sport played by several players on flying broomsticks? That is Quidditch. Quidditch, Quidditch. Question 13, who won the 2019 Gold Logie Award for the most popular personality on television? I don't know how they choose that. Seems kind of arbitrary. Maybe it's done by viewer votes. Anyway, the winner was Tom Gleeson, who is the host of Hard Quiz, which is a show that sounds like I should watch, but I don't. Anybody watch Hard Quiz? Is it any good? Is it better than The Chase? Do they have more than one question every 10 minutes, unlike Millionaire? Anyway, the answer is Tom Gleeson. Question 14, with which Mediterranean country do we associate an 8-pointed cross? Well, that's generally called a Maltese cross. We associate it with Malta. Question 15, are people from Malta called Maltesers? Questions on the back of a postcard. Malta. Malta. You are called Maltese. But are you a Malteser? I don't know. Anyway. Question 15. Which British rider won the Tour de France in those years? That was Chris Froome. F-R-O-O-M-E. Chris Froome. Webb says it's pretty good. Simone says, yes, it's fun. Simone says it's better than the commercial ones. And Kim says it's not better than The Chase. Fair enough. And Pierrot says, better than Pub Trivia Tuesdays? Never. Okay, question 15 we just had. Question 16, approximately 750 miles east of Australia, New Caledonia belongs to which country? It is France. It's a French overseas territory thing. It's basically a chunk of France. And if we had a bonus point, Old Caledonia would have sort of been Scotland, but not quite. Question 17. What was the name of the best-selling book published by Stephen Hawking in 1988? It was, of course, A Brief History of Time. A Brief History of Time. Lots of insults, says Davey. Don't know what that's in reference to, but fair enough. Question 18. The River Danube empties into which sea? It is the Black Sea, specifically in Romania and Ukraine. So the answer is the Black Sea. Question 19. What repetitive name was used by infamous former Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi to refer to his alleged sex parties? Did you get this? They were known as bunga bunga parties. Nothing wrong with a bit of bunga bunga. And that's, yeah, bunga bunga parties. Hard Quiz has lots of insults. He insults guests. Brilliant. Does that work? Is that why he's the most popular personality on television? Well, I guess it works for Gordon Ramsay. But anyway. So the answer to 19 was bunga bunga parties. And question 20, for half a point each, name the 4 US states with a double N in their name. We have Minnesota, Tennessee, kind of gave you in the last round, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania. Minnesota, Tennessee, Connecticut, Pennsylvania. If he has bunga bunga parties, what does he think cowabunga dude means? Good point, Simone. Right, that's the end of round 2. Jill has already jumped in with Joan and Chris. 17 points. Let me know how you went. And then we'll get on to our... I don't know how difficult it is this week, but we'll see. Well, I've just confirmed that one of the questions in round 3 is a repeat. So you should at least get that one. Ads got 14. Nikki got 10.5. I'm not going to repeat that joke. Web, Carmen got 10. Parrot got 6. Again, better than last week. Web also got 10. Simone got 16. David Jones got 13. ... Right. Very good. Kim got 10. Question on everyone's lips. What did Noelle and Stephen get? Oh, there's 2 updates to the webpage. Lance and Gail, hello Gail, got 14.5. Pretty good. Malta page I can close. Kim got 10, which I think I already said. Okay, let's push on to round 3. This is our tricky, difficult, silly round. It's only 10 questions, but if you get any of them, you're doing pretty well. I always say that, but then to start, we're going to have a multiple choice. So how hard can it be? Round 3, question 1. Elvis Presley made his film debut in which film? Was it A, Jailhouse Rock, B, Love Me Tender, or C, King Creole? Round 3, question 1. Elvis Presley made his film debut in which film? Was it A, Jailhouse Rock, B, Love Me Tender, or C, King Creole? Question 2. This one's a repeat from some previous week. Question 2. What is the correct name beginning with P for Peter for the cleft common to many mammals, including humans, that extends from the nose to the top lip? That bit there that you'd be able to see if I didn't have a moustache. Question 2. What is the correct name beginning with P for Peter for the cleft common to many mammals, including humans, that extends from the nose to the top lip? Noelle 15, Stephen 16. They're even at the end of round 2. It's very exciting. Question 3. How many hands does Big Ben in London have? Question 3. How many hands does Big Ben in London have? Why is that not copying? Webb says, I'd just like to say that King Creole is an awesome movie. I have to say, I don't think I've ever seen an Elvis Presley movie. They're a bit before my time, and despite the fact that I do like, one of my passions is vintage blues, and Elvis Presley, brought a lot of that style of music to the, let's just say, the greater public. But I've never managed to get around to watching any Elvis films. Question 3, how many hands does Big Ben in London have? Question 4, if a place is described as littoral, where is it? That's Littoral. Littoral. Question 4, if a place is described as littoral, where is it? Or littoral. It's not literal as in literally, as opposed to figuratively. It is littoral, Littoral. If a place is described as littoral, where is it? I'm unreasonably excited to see what happens in round 3 between Noelle and Stephen. I don't know why I'm so emotionally invested in this. Question 5. Australian comedian and musician Dennis Bryant is more commonly known by what stage name? Question 5. Australian comedian and musician Dennis Bryant is more commonly known by which stage name? Webb has said wait. I don't know what I'm waiting for. Good. Question 6. Second star on the right and straight on till morning are the directions to which fictional place? Means I can't find it. Wait. Fair enough. Question 6. Second star on the right and straight on till morning are the directions to which fictional place? Can you think about that one for a moment? I've got about a third of a beer left. For those playing along at home. Question 7. A Bellini cocktail, Bellini, a Bellini cocktail, contains sparkling wine and which fruit? Question 7. A Bellini cocktail contains sparkling wine and which fruit? Question 8. In our names for days of the week, which is the only one which has retained the Roman name and has not been changed to a German or Norse equivalent? So back in the day, all our words for days of the week were all were Roman, apparently. But most of the words we use now for our days of the week are actually of German, Norse, sort of Scandinavian origin. But which one has remained Roman? Question 8. In our names for days of the week, which is the only one which has retained the Roman name and has not been changed to a German or Norse equivalent? Seems like something I'm going to need to bring up a wiki page for, because I can remember what most of them are about. I remember a couple of them. Okay, good. Question 9. The Khyber Pass, Khyber, the Khyber Pass connects which two countries? And because it's round 3, and because it's geography, you can have 1 point for each of them. Round 3, question 9. The Khyber Pass connects which two countries? 1 point each. And question 20. Who is or was the youngest sibling in the musical Jackson family? I'm sure you know the famous musical Jackson family. Probably need no introduction. I'm not going to give you any names because I'm sure you know who they are. Who is the youngest sibling in the musical Jackson family? That's question 10. Which brings us to the end of round 3. Let me know if you need any of those repeated. Okay. Webb says immediate family, or do cousins count? Well, I think there was a group of siblings. There's quite a well-known set of siblings. And it's, yeah, I mean, the strict wording of the question is, who is the youngest sibling in the musical Jackson family? So I think that excludes cousins or children or grandchildren or whatever. I think it's just the famous siblings. All right, let's go through the answers to round 3. Except Kim would like question 6 repeated. Second star on the right and straight on till morning are the directions to which fictional place? Second star on the right and straight on till morning. And Kim would also like question 10 repeated. Who is the youngest sibling in the musical Jackson family? Okay. I'm trying to think if I can give you any more information about that. Last question, question 10. No, I think that's probably going to have to do. You'll figure it out from that. Okay, let's go through the answers to round 3. Question 1. Elvis Presley made his film debut in which film? Was it A, Jailhouse Rock, B, Love Me Tender, or C, King Creole? It was B, Love Me Tender. Question 2. What is the correct name, beginning with P for Peter, for the cleft common to many mammals, including humans, that extends from the nose to the top lip? It is the philtrum, Philtrum. Philtrum. It has no known function. Question 3. How many hands does Big Ben in London have? It's kind of a classic semi-trick trivia question, this one. None, because Big Ben is the bell, not the clock. And the tower is, of course, Elizabeth Tower. So the answer is none, because it's a bell, and bells don't have hands. Question 4. If a place is described as littoral, where is it? It's near the shore. So generally from the high water mark to down to areas which are permanently submerged. So you might have a littoral rainforest, which is a particular type of rainforest that grows along the shoreline. Simone says, good gutter for snot rivulets. Yes, that's a very graphic description of the philtrum's possible function. Question 3 we already had. Question 4 we had. Question 5. Australian comedian and musician Dennis Bryant is more commonly known by which stage name? He is Kevin Bloody Wilson. Not Dennis Bloody Bryant, but Kevin Bloody Wilson. Question 6. Second star on the right and straight on till morning are the directions to which fictional place? That's how you get to Neverland from Peter Pan. The answer is Neverland. Question 7. A Bellini cocktail contains sparkling wine and which fruit? That is peach. A Bellini has to have peach or peach pulp or peach syrup or something in it. Question 8. In our names for days of the week, which is the only one that has retained the Roman name and not been changed to a German or Norse equivalent? I'm a bit of a Viking buff. I always tell my kids the Viking names for days of the week. But the one that isn't a Viking name is Saturday. It's named for the planet Saturn, which is itself named after the Roman god. So the other day is Sunday. It's named after the sun, presumably the Viking word. Don't know. Anyway, Monday is Mani, goddess of the moon. Tuesday is from Tyr, the god of war. Wednesday is a corruption of Woden's Day, which is the Old Norse word for Odin. So it's Odin's Day, Woden's Day, Wotan's Day. Thursday is from Thor, obviously, and Friday is from Frigga, which is the goddess of marriage and Odin's wife and all that stuff. But the answer to question 8 is Saturday. It's named after the planet Saturn. Named after the Roman god Saturn. Question 9. The Khyber Pass connects which 2 countries for 1 point each? They are Afghanistan and Pakistan. Afghanistan and Pakistan. And question 10. Who is the youngest sibling in the musical Jackson family? Well, I didn't want to mention the Jackson 5 because that sort of complicates things, because that's obviously the musical Jackson family, who had Michael and all that in the Jackson 5. But actually, the youngest sibling wasn't in the Jackson 5. It's Janet. Janet Jackson is the youngest sibling in the musical Jackson family. So there you go. Is or was. She's still going, I think, isn't she? Yes. Good. Still going. You never know nowadays. Right. So that's question 10. Janet, so how did you go in round 3? Let me know the scores. And then we're going to have our Who Am I questions. Ad's got 7, Nikki got 2, Jill, Joan, and Chris got 7, Simone got 5, Webb got 6. Pretty high scores for round 3. Davy Jones got 6 just. Interesting. Carmen got 3. The question on everyone's lips. There's a comment on the Facebook page. Lance and Gail got 5. Pretty good for round 3. Pierrot got 1. Oh well. Which one did you get, Pierrot? Now people are doing the total scores. 38 for Simone, 43 for Jill. Pierrot got Janet Jackson as the one question he got right in round 10. Round 3. Very interesting. Yeah, drum roll for the Kings. What's the Kings score? Anyway, we'll push on with our Who Am I questions while we're waiting for the final tally from the stewards. So the way this works is I'm going to read out facts about a person, place, thing, city, year, etc. If you're in a tiebreaker situation, you can use this to settle your tiebreak, because as I go along, if you think you know the answer, you can have a crack at it. You can even put it in the comments to the YouTube comments if you like. That's normally we don't really like people to post the answers as we go along, but in the Who Am I's, you're perfectly entitled to do that. If you get it right, you win. If you get it wrong, the other person wins and you lose. So you need to be quick, but you also need to be correct. Now, Narelle says she got 4 and Stephen got 5-ish because I'm nice and let him change Janet. I don't know. That kind of sounds like you're now in a tiebreaker situation to me. I mean, I don't want to, lay down the law here, but okay. All right. Stephen won by 1. Well done. Anyway, so we're going to have 2 Who Am I's. First one is going to be the official tiebreaker, and the second one's just going to be for fun, although it's not a particularly fun one. Okay, so here we go with the first one. Who am I? I still think this should be the tiebreaker between the kings. But anyway, who am I? I was born in Pisa, Italy, in 1564. The first of 6 children. My father, Vincenzo, was a famous composer, music theorist, and lutenist. As a young man, I seriously considered entering the priesthood, but my father urged me to pursue a medical degree. After a while, I switched my studies to mathematics and eventually became a professor, teaching geometry, mechanics, and astronomy. During this time, I made many significant discoveries in pure sciences, but also applied science, such as greatly improving the design of the telescope. I was a controversial figure, entering into many arguments with established scientific minds. I questioned the Copernican view that all celestial objects orbited the Earth, partly because I had observed 4 moons orbiting Jupiter. Ultimately, my controversial and often insulting publications, particularly my dialogue concerning the 2 chief world systems, which appeared to portray Pope Urban VIII as a simpleton, had me called to Rome to defend my writings and answer a charge of heresy. I was sentenced to house arrest, where I remained for the rest of my life. I am remembered not only for my astronomical observations, but also as the father of modern physics, and the 4 large moons of Jupiter are collectively named in my honor. With a surname Galilei, I am, of course, Galileo Galilei. And the 4 large moons of Jupiter are referred to as the Galilean moons. Looks like Pierrot got that one, even though he spelled my name Galileo. Near enough. Galileo. You did that. Yeah, even though you can't spell the name, that's fine. So well done, Pierrot. Yes, Galileo greatly improved the telescope and used it somewhat to his detriment to prove that not everything orbited the Earth. All right, let's push on to our next Who Am I? And a Queen song, that's right. If it had been a tiebreaker, which one of you would have won, Narelle and Stephen? Anyway, this one's a bit more tricky and a bit less pleasant. Anyway, who am I? I was born in 1913 in Godesberg, Germany. My father was drafted into the First World War and returned wounded, having been captured by the French, who he hated. He never recovered his health. He became an alcoholic, and he abused his children mercilessly. I had intended to study theology, but the death of my father derailed my plans, and while I was unemployed, I was drafted into the labor service of the Nazi Party. At age 22, I became a member of the Special Security Branch of the SS, and 2 years later, a member of the Nazi Party. After the German conquest of the Netherlands, I was assigned to Amsterdam, and later that year to Lyon in France as head of the local Gestapo. Historians estimate that I may have been personally responsible for the deaths of up to 14,000 people during this time, and I personally tortured and executed prisoners. After the war, I was recruited by the US Army Counterintelligence Corps to further anti-communist efforts in Europe. In 1965, I was recruited by the West German Foreign Intelligence Agency under the codename Adler, which means eagle. I was pursued by the French for war crimes, so I emigrated to Bolivia in the late 1960s, and I lived there until 1983. During this time, it is claimed that I was influential in the Bolivian coup of 1980, and I was granted the rank of lieutenant colonel in the Bolivian armed forces. I also helped the CIA orchestrate the capture and execution of Che Guevara. In 1983, the newly elected Bolivian government arrested and extradited me to France to stand trial. I was sentenced in 1987 to life imprisonment, and I died in prison 4 years later of cancer at the age of 77. We got a whole lot of famous Nazis in the comments. Nobody's got it right so far. There's no comments on the Facebook page. So, known as the Butcher of Lyon, I am Klaus Barbie. Klaus space Barbie. Klaus Barbie, the Butcher of Lyon. Quite an influential life, I'm going to say. Not necessarily for good. In fact, pretty blatantly for evil for most of it. Anyway, I don't think anyone got that one. Quite a few of the big hitters. We had Goebbels and Hitler and Himmler and all those guys. But nope, I am Klaus Barbie. Right, so there we go. That guy looks like a fun person. Let's get rid of them. That's all right. It's the internet. There's trolls on it. It's fine. Okay, anyway, apart from that little bit of unpleasantness at the end, I hope you all had fun. Slightly shambolic as usual because my brain is a bit tired. No worries, Lance. Glad you had a good time. I'll see you all next week when I'll hopefully be a bit more with it and a bit less tired and grumpy. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Stay safe. See you all next week. Bye.